Fantastic.
So I know nothing about the boats. But
That's
if the
really
boats
good.
are loaded up with bad people, and they usually are, because, you know, other countries don't send their best. They send people that they don't want. And they're not stupid people. And they send the people that they don't want. And I've heard that you've taken a much stronger stance on immigration.
Yeah, we've done a lot of work stopping them coming. We just signed an agreement to return them, and we've returned 35,000, in fact, under the first year of this Labour government, of people who shouldn't be in this country. So we're very pleased that we're getting on with returning people who've got no right to be here.
That's great. As somebody that loves this country,
That's great.
I love this country. My mother was born in, as you know, my mother was born in Scotland, and it's an incredible place, a beautiful place.
That's great. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's passive aggressive. I know. Out of 200,000, what's he on about? I don't know. I mean, again, that guy is just. I feel so bad for people in Britain. Like, this guy is such a. Oh no! Look at the panic on his face. What is this?
Importance of free speech today.
Well, free speech is very important. I don't know if you're referring to any place in particular, perhaps. In particular, perhaps they are, but
we've had free speech for a very, very long time here, so we're very proud about that.
He just goes in. How did this guy win? Oh my god! And he's just sitting here talking shit right next to him too.
you know, Europe is a much different place than it was just 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and they've got to get their act together. If they don't, you're not going to have Europe anymore as you know it, and you can't do that. This is a magnificent part of the world, and you cannot ruin it. You cannot let people come in here illegally.
And he just fucking stands there, bro.
What happens is there'll be murderers, there'll be drug dealers, there'll be all sorts of things that other countries don't want. And they send them to you, and they send them to us, and you've got to stop them. You know,
Oh my fucking god.
well, I do know he wants to cut taxes as much as he can. And, you know, politics is pretty simple. It's, I assume there's a thing going on between you and Nigel, and it's okay. You know, it's two parties. But generally speaking, the one who cuts taxes the most, the one who gives you the lowest energy prices and the best kind of energy, the one that keeps you out of wars.
This guy has major Jeb Bush energy. He treats this guy the way he treated Jeb Bush.
It's kept you out of wars. But the one that keeps you out of wars, you know, you have a few basics. And,
You know what I mean?
And you can go back 1,000 years, 1,000,000 years, whoever does these things.
No.
Low taxes, keep us safe, keep us out of wars, no crime, stop the crime. And in your case, a big immigration component, you know, because...
just sitting right fucking next to him. Just talking mad shit.
I know that your attitude has become strong on immigration, strong on the toughness of immigration. But I think whoever's going to be, I think I won because we had a lousy president, to be honest with you. We had an incompetent president. But I won because I was very strong on immigration.
I mean, like, if you're from the UK, like, you've got to think this guy's a bitch, right? I mean, you have to think this guy's kind of a bitch.
Now, we had inflation. We had sort of a bad economy.
Yeah,
with
okay,
this
good.
guy.
I just want to make
we
sure.
We had a lot of problems, but I focused on immigration more than I did anything else. And I think I won because of immigration. I think I won because of the border.
Helped.
I had a bad border where millions of people were coming in to our country illegally. And as you know, in last month, 0 people came into our country illegally, 0. So we went from a bad, incompetently run border to the most competently run border that anybody's ever seen.
Man, you having a bad time, huh? Yeah, he having a real fucking bad time. They can't answer that, go to jail. And so anyway, no, it gets even worse.
About what?
Will you visit London during the state visit?
I will.
Visit London.
I'm not a fan of your mayor.
Why not?
I think he's done a terrible job. The mayor of London.
Oh,
but
geez.
the nasty person. I think he's done it. I think,
talking shit.
He's a friend of mine, right?
No, I think he's done a terrible job.
Anyway.
But I would certainly visit London, yeah.
Would you want to So MP Nigel Farage has asked Parliament to be recalled.
That's it.
Well, I like Nigel. I mean, Nigel, as you know, is a friend of mine. Nigel's done very well. He's a friend of mine. And Kier's a friend of mine.
Would you recall
First, spank their ass, and second, treat them well.
Oh God.
comments so that
Oh fuck, man. It's so full of shit. I know.
The president makes it look easy dealing with illegal migration. You must be envious of his record in such a short period of time.
Well, I think we've been discussing.
Oh no. He's having a bad. This is a bad day for him, man. Oh God.
Irregular, illegal migration is a huge issue in both of our countries.
It's
in
a
the
big
United
problem.
Kingdom, it is a real cause for concern, and that's why we must bear down on it.
The president makes it look easy dealing with illegal migration. You must be envious of his record in such a short period of time.
Well, I think we've been discussing irregular, illegal migration is a huge issue in both of our countries.
It's
in
bad.
The United Kingdom, it is a real cause for concern, and that's why we must bear down on it.
God damn, man. That's brutal. Holy fucking shit, man. That is bad. And what is this here? Oh God.
Mr. President, you have a successful social media site. There are new powers here to censor your site, state-mandated powers.
To censor my site?
To censor your site
Oh my fucking God.
and
mean
Twitter
Truth?
and Facebook.
Truth?
I mean Truth. Is that okay?
I don't think he's going to censor my site because I say only good things. Will you please uncensor my site?
Yeah, we're not censoring anyone. We've got some measures which are there to protect children, in particular from sites like suicide sites. We've had too many cases in the United Kingdom of
For sure. Yeah.
young children taking their own lives. And when you look through their social media, they've been accessing sites which talk about suicide and encouraging, if you like, children down that road, and that is what we want to stop. There's nothing about censoring free speech.
But that treats all adults like
this
children.
This country is the proud.
But that can treat all adults
free
like
speech in this
children.
country has been for a very long time. We're very, very proud of it.
Bro, this guy is such a bullshitter. It's insane. Oh my God. I love this. Visa has finally responded, and they are having a business and the mercy.
The tactics used by groups like Collective Show.
This is what people have to do. You have to respond, and you have to play their game. Because we have to show these companies that these Karens are such a tiny, like, fucking microscopic minority of people that they don't represent the average customer. They don't represent the average person. They are an interest group that's trying to weaponize their viewpoints and create a false majority. Gamers need to rise up.
Initially targeted Steam. Collective Show claimed victory with around 1,000 emails, and gamers believe they can collectively shout much, much louder. Simply letting MasterCard and Visa know, hey, these games we want to buy are legal. Let us spend our money. So, as gamers express their frustration, Visa has responded to multiple emails with what appears to be a copy-paste response. I've seen multiple different emails, but they all had the exact same reply, so let's see what Visa has to say about the situation. Thank you for reaching out and sharing your perspective. As a global company, we follow the laws and regulations everywhere we do business. This sounds fair. Visa says they follow the law. Obviously,
I think that any company has to follow the law. It doesn't matter what your TOS is. It doesn't matter what your company, mission statement is. It doesn't matter what your values are. If you want to do business in a country, you have to follow the laws in that country with no restrictions and no ifs, ands, or buts. There's literally like no room for a company to say like, well, we're not going to follow the law because we don't want to. Of course not.
If something is illegal, that is its own situation, and I would agree that it should be banned from Steam. But these games we are talking about are legal,
Yes.
which is the problem. While we explicitly prohibit illegal activity on our network, we are equally committed to protecting legal commerce. If a transaction is legal, our policy is to process the transaction. We do not make moral judgments on legal purchases made by consumers.
We need one gamer congressman to pull the CEO or a representative of Visa up and to have them say this on record. And then we need to look into this, because I think they're lying. JD Vance, I don't know, man. Like JD Vance, like he's like, he's already got the couch allegations. I don't know if he's going to go to bat for Coomers. I don't know if he's going to be our guy for that. Okay? Because of the whole sofa thing.
This is a very strong statement. Visa claims they don't judge what people buy if it's legal. And if a purchase is legal, they process it. This sounds great.
It's a lie.
This is what you would assume a payment processor would do.
They're lying.
But if you have been paying attention at all to the
they're
situation,
lying.
you would know this is simply not true. From games to crypto, guns, anime, porn, even energy companies, and so much more. But back to Visa's statement. If they don't make moral judgments, what does that even mean? It means they claim they don't care if content is adult, violent, or controversial, as long as it's legal. They say their job isn't to decide what's right or wrong morally, but just to make sure money moves for legal products.
That's
so they
right.
are saying one thing, but then doing the exact opposite. Visa continues in the email. Visa does not moderate content sold by merchants, nor do we have visibility into the specific goods or services.
Then why do they have all that shit in Japan? What's going on with that?
Sold when we process a transaction. This claim is also
That's
very
crazy.
clear. Visa says they don't look at the content being sold. Visa and MasterCard are intertwined in so many businesses around the world, you can't actually expect them to go through every single one to review and moderate everything.
No, they
Visa
don't do it ahead of time. They do it, but if people complain about it, they'll go back and do it. It's obvious.
also says they don't see what's being sold when money moves. So if they don't see the content, how do they know if something is quote-unquote risky? Well, they rely on reports from banks themselves, complaints from the public, or even activist groups to flag a merchant as risky. So Visa won't look at every single game, but if a platform like Steam has a lot of content that's getting complaints, Visa
Well,
can
how could
view
something be risky? It's either illegal or it's not.
the entire platform
What does risky
as a
even
risk,
mean?
which is how Collective Shout were able to get Visa and MasterCard to listen to them. By painting Steam and itch.io as this very bad place, asking them to demonstrate corporate social responsibility and immediately cease processing payments. But Visa continues in their email. When a legally operating merchant faces an elevated risk of illegal activity, we require enhanced safeguards for the bank supporting those merchants. The last part is key. Visa says if a store has a high risk of illegal activity, they make the banks working with that store take extra steps to be safe. But notice they don't say the content is illegal, just that
This is an abstract, amorphous, opaque statement that could mean any number of things. And it's intentionally vague so they can control the narrative and not have to define it. That's what they're doing.
there's a risk of it.
Obviously.
Visa claims that they do not make moral judgments on legal purchases and do not moderate content. But let's compare that to what Valve and itch.io actually said about the recent changes. In classic Valve fashion, they were quiet on the issue.
Yeah, they don't talk
but the
about
only
this shit.
official information we have from them is the new rule change and an official worded response they gave out to multiple different journalists. In their response, Valve hinted heavily that payment processors were threatening to cut them off. They stated they had to retire certain games because losing payment methods would prevent customers from buying any
They also charge high risk rates for high chargeback rates too. Yeah. And so this is another thing that they hide behind. This is actually a really good point you're bringing up because I know where this conversation is going to go and I'm going to stop it before it even goes there. The idea that they're only doing it because this type of adult content has a high chargeback rate. How much do you want to bet if you did an investigation into what they were doing, you would find out that that's not true?
ये बात
I bet there are tons of things that have very high chargeback rates that they allow. So if chargeback rate is the only metric...
क्या बोल रहा है तूफानी क्या है
बहुत हॉट है बोल रहा है
अच्छा
किसको हॉट लग रहा है तूफान ये नहीं खेल रहे क्या तुम लोग हेलो हेलो आवाज आ रही है
अबे भाई
कहाँ हो तुम लोग
मैं तो नीचे हूँ
बी पे बी पे एक ही है
बम किधर है
बम्बर टी स्पून
क्या कर रहा है
पता नहीं बी खाली है लेकिन ये लेटर है क्या है
और
trick of decision making, you
किधर
would
है
assume that there is a threshold that anything that reaches that chargeback rate threshold
Townie,
is then
hello.
subject to these different
वो थोड़ा-
rules.
वो
Is
थोड़ा
that the way
sexting
that
हो रहा
Visa
है।
operates?
अरे बात
Probably
किधर है
not.
एक कनेक्टर आ रहा है
titles
ऑफर
on
है
Steam.
22
This
HP
made it clear that Steam was now at the mercy of
आया?
these payment processors,
नहीं, hold
despite
कर।
Valve's usual
बाकी-
hands-off
चला गया।
approach
बाकी दो?
to legal content.
बाकी
itch.io
एक
was
ये
even
साइड पे
more
है
direct.
और
They
एक
flat out stated they changed
mid
their
है।
rules because payment
बी
companies
के
was
बी के
even more
बी पे
direct.
मतलब बी के नीचे है वहाँ पे होल्ड कर रहा है
They
कनेक्टर
flat out hands-off
Upper है क्या?
approach to
हाँ
legal
आपको होल्ड कर रहा है अभी कनेक्टर होल्ड
content.
कर रहा है
itch.io
मारो मारो एक बार
was
बिखाली
even
बिखाली
more direct. They flat out
भागते
stated they
भागते सिटी
changed
से आ
their
रहे
rules
मिड आ
because
गए
payment
आगे
companies threatened to block all
क्लोज
payments
एक
on
है
their platform.
Yep.
So
Close
if
it.
Visa isn't making moral judgments or moderating content, why were these threats happening
एक ऑप से
over
होल्ड कर
legal
रहा है
material? Is Visa
नाइस ट्राई
Why would that happen? What a fucking mystery. Who knows? Nobody knows.
implying Steam and itch.io are lying? Well, the answer is in one vague word, risk. Visa states they require enhanced safeguards when there is an elevated risk of illegal activity. But risk is a broad term. Often, it's not actually about illegal content, but about anything that might generate bad press or public protest.
Exactly. Brand risk.
इनका
This
गल
gives
गया आधा
power
टीम
to
तो उधर ही
groups
गल
like
गया
Collective
अरे,
Shout. They sent
बी पे दो
numerous
ही हैं
emails,
एक
made
बी के
phone
नीचे
calls,
एक बी के
and
ऊपर
ran
है
public campaigns,
बिया
painting
बिया
Steam as
It's
बम्बर
like you
बिया
can see how
हेलो
the, how
बम्बर
the
के
double
नीचे
speak here
नीचे एक
is that
ये
we
ऑग लेके
don't
बैठा है
moderate
रैंप
the
के नीचे
morality of stuff,
Bomber.
but we
कॉर्नर
do
पे
watch
रैंप
out
के
for
नीचे
things that are
कॉर्नर पे
brand
बैठा है ऑग
risks.
लेके
Well, yeah,
लेफ्ट
but
साइड
what
कॉर्नर
happens whenever the
बम
brand
लेके
risk
आओ बी बम
happens
लेके आओ
because of the moral
इधर ही
लेफ्ट में देखो
positioning of
लेफ्ट
it?
में
Well, I mean, you
अंदर
just,
घुसो नहीं नहीं
it's,
अंदर जाओ रैंप के नीचे लेफ्ट
it's a
रैंप के नीचे
self-invalidating
लेफ्ट
argument.
हाँ
itch.io,
ये बात
businesses selling
बिखाली
certain
बिखाली
types of
पूरा
legal
खाली
adult content have lost
सिटी से
payment
आ रहे हैं
options from
एक
companies
आ गया
like Visa, often
Japan-
under the
इलेक्ट्रिक
same
इलेक्ट्रिक
risk
आपके
Japan
सामने
just needs to
राइट
say,
साइड
listen, if you want to do business here, you can't do this
पीछे
anymore.
पीछे पीछे
I don't know why they don't
सिटी
do
से
that.
आ रहा लास्ट
I mean, Visa and MasterCard will immediately
इजी
capitulate,
इनको जीतने नहीं
especially if
देना
they
ठीक
do
है
it to
सालों
one of
को
them. Like, this is what I would do.
अच्छा
If
जैसे
I
हम
was
चीज जीतने
Japan,
लगे वो बीस्ट इधर
I
आ
would
गया
do it to
इनका
only Visa and
क्या
only
scene है?
or only MasterCard. So that way it's like you either risk losing your entire market share here or you have to follow the rules. And as soon as you get them to follow the rules, then you do it to the other one.
umbrella. Even Visa's CEO in Japan has been vocally against
I don't know why. Like, again, like, yeah, use Visa as an example. Yeah, this is a very easy
अरे
problem to solve.
हाँ भाई ये तो ये पे
content. This shows a
आप
clear
किधर हो?
pattern. Payment
मैं
processors,
मिड में हूँ
despite their claims,
city,
directly
city.
influence what can be sold. If
In
they
order to change behavior, all you have to find out is why
पे कहाँ?
behavior occurs. If you can figure out why
पीछे।
behavior occurs,
अच्छा।
you can change behavior.
कैप्टन का मैं
If you
कैप्टन को
can't
देख रहा
find
था
out why a person
वाह,
is doing
कैप्टन सर वहाँ पे
something,
कोई
then
नहीं
you're
है एक आ
fucked.
रहा है एक आ रहा है
decide a business is risky, Even for
बाकी
legal
सब भी
content,
एक खाली
it
है,
can
yeah.
एक खाली
effectively
है.
shut
एक
down
खाली
that
है.
business's
फॉर्म नहीं है
ability
अपने को.
to operate. So this email from Visa is a clear example of
इसको
a
बोलो
big
ये आओ,
company
ये आओ,
saying one
उसको
thing,
बोलो
while
माइक
their
खोल के.
actions and the statements of the platforms they
माइक खोल
work
के
with
बोलो.
show something completely
Yeah,
different.
they're
दोनों बीप
Now
है,
it's
lying.
also
दोनों
important
बीप.
to remember, as this video did have a focus on
बस
Visa,
मर
there
गया.
are other payment
लास्ट बीप
processors
है.
involved
रेड
as well.
बॉक्स.
MasterCard and PayPal are also very big bad actors. There's been a number of guys that have tried to
White
reach out to
RAM.
me. I don't know if I'm going to have them on the stream or talk to them at all.
बीच
But
चला
like,
गया.
for example,
P-RAM,
one of the
P-RAM, flash P-RAM.
guys, I
वापिस
think
आ
the
रहा
guy
है.
that runs like Kiwi Farms said that he had issues with this
White
too.
box.
And then I think Dick Masterson said that he had it's actually that's his name.
अरे
I'm being serious.
अरे
Red
प्लान क्यों नहीं
box.
कर रहा है?
Said he had issues with this also.
हैं?
And I thought about maybe
Plant
bringing
नहीं
them
कर
on.
रहा है.
Like obviously, like I can't go as
Oh,
far to
कौन
bring
ने
Nick
plant
on,
देगा?
right? But like we all know, if anybody knows
छी,
anything about
छी
Nick,
भाई,
we
कितना
know that
गंदा
he's been
plant है.
debanked as well. This is
कहाँ
a
है
massive
कहाँ?
issue.
लो.
अरे इसका गंदा
There are
प्लान देख
some
रहा था.
reports from people calling MasterCard that issues have
CT है,
escalated
CT
to
है.
a higher
वो
department,
मर गए.
as they have been getting calls about this all week. Whether MasterCard's higher department actually does something is a different question
उस
that we
तरफ
will just
दूसरे
have to
side
wait to
CT आ
see.
रहा है.
While
Well, you
मर
just
गए.
keep putting pressure on them
अच्छा.
until
नहीं
they do
कैप्टन
something.
बंदा है.
You have to understand that like their
Nice.
incentive is they're worried about brand damage. And the reason why they're worried about brand damage is they're worried about brand damage leading to a loss
तो
in
गिर के
revenue.
मत.
So,
अच्छा.
how do you solve that problem? You solve that problem by creating a situation where they will lose revenue or their brand will be damaged if they don't do what you want. That's how you create an outcome and you create an apparatus that can make them behave in a way that you want. It's pretty
exact
simple.
behind the scene details of what happened between payment processors and Steam are unknown. One thing is clear. Visa
कहाँ मर
claims
गए
of
भाई?
no moral judgments
पे दो
don't
बंदे
match
हैं, एक
reality.
नेगेटिव चला
They
रहा
use
है और
vague
एक
terms like
नेगेटिव
risk
के
to
सामने
deflect
क्यों जाना है?
responsibility while
अरे वो
controlling what content is bought
आ गया
and sold.
बंदे का
This
ट्रेड
Well,
लेने
an
गया
elevated risk of illegal
और
activity.
वो ऐसे ऑफ एंगल पे
What does
बैठा है.
that even mean?
किधर हो आप? अरे आपके राइट
Like, I
सामने
mean, for
सामने
example,
लेफ्ट
PayPal doesn't verify the reason
Just
why
सामने,
you're doing a
निकलते ही सामने
transaction.
दिखेगा.
I bet there's probably illegal PayPal transactions
बात.
that happen constantly.
एक ऊपर नेगेटिव वाला है.
And also,
बीच
like, if a
निकल के
company
मार सकते
is
हैं, लेकिन
if the
अरे
company
लेट
is
निकाल
doing
रहा है.
something that's illegal, then why aren't they getting
एक
arrested
खाली
in
है.
the first place? Why is the
ये पर
company
एक
जाओ,
ही
ये
itself
बंदा
not
जाओ,
है.
getting
ये
arrested?
जाओ.
एक ही बंदा है रैंप
Just
पे,
makes one
बाकी
thing
ये
खाली
जाओ,
है.
very
hello,
clear.
ये जाओ,
Payment
hello,
companies
ये
like
जाओ.
Visa and MasterCard have huge unchecked power.
ये
They
जाओ,
shouldn't
hello.
be allowed to dictate what legal content can be
अरे
bought
क्यों
or
चूद रहे हो
sold
नेगेटिव से?
online simply
भोसड़ी
by
वालों, ये जाओ.
labeling it risky. Because
I
what
think that if they
किधर
want
बंदा?
to do that
मर
and they
गया, मर
want
गया.
to act
Okay.
like editors, then I think the
excited
government
again.
should hold them accountable for illegal transactions that happen on their platform. So if you want to
नेगेटिव
take
से बॉट की
accountability
तरह मर गए
for
बे. चार
and
बंदे
control
बोल
the
रहे हो, ये जाओ.
transactions that are happening on your platform, sounds great. Okay, well, the next time there's an illegal transaction, you're going to get charged for it. And that would last for 1 hour.
इसको तो
That'd be
P90
it.
से मारना पड़ेगा, रुको.
really is
Negative चला रहा है
risky.
ना?
This unchecked power must be challenged. Payment processors, with their monopoly
चलते हैं,
on
पूरा free है.
transactions, operate as essential services like electricity or water. They should be forced to provide fair
ये
access to
चलना है
all
क्या?
legal
चलो.
purchases.
लेकिन ये
And
शॉट
you,
ऑफर
you
आता
can
है.
see how this is happening more and more every
ये short
single
offer
year.
आता है.
That you have people that have certain agendas or viewpoints or
ये आओ, सारे
worldviews
आ जाओ, ये
that
आ
try
जाओ.
to take control of essential services like payment
Yeah.
processing or like ISPs or even like social media or any
कोई
sort of
forward
banking,
नहीं आ रहा है. मैं
and they
last
try to
में आया फिर.
weaponize
आओ ना,
those
अरे आओ.
things to
ये देखो.
fit their goals and their
मरवा दिया
worldview.
सबने.
This is something that's been
सब एक-एक
happening, and
करके
it's something that
निकल रहे
will
हैं,
always
एक-एक करके
happen
trade
because
लेने की
people
कोशिश
that
करते हैं.
desire power will go
साथ में
after
नहीं आते.
power, and these things are powerful. So this is something that you have to always maintain vigilance with because it will continue to happen indefinitely. For as long as there are people, this problem will exist. And the issue right now isn't that the problem is existing, it's that it's being allowed to continue to exist.
Something hopefully we see happen in the future. That's why collective action is so important. From calling and emailing Visa and MasterCard directly to supporting policies like the Fair Access to Banking Act, gamers are making their voices heard. They're now telling elected officials that these powerful companies are overstepping by blocking legal.
We need to make gamers the new political party. Fuck the America Party, fuck the Democrats, fuck the Republicans. We need the gamer party.
Purchases. There are petitions already with over 100,000 signatures.
All positions, all values, all campaign promises are in service of allowing people to stay home and sit on the computer
हाँ
and do
वैक बैन पड़ा
whatever
है
they
भाई,
want
हैकर था
without
भाई.
getting fucked with. That is
भाई वैक
that
बैन पड़
is the
गया.
dream, that is the vision, and everything works in service of that.
And I'm sure it will only grow as gamers start to realize how bad this problem really is. So, what do you think about Visa's email? Do you think Steam and itch.io removed tens of thousands of games just because they wanted to, and then blamed it on payment processors for no reason?
Yeah, for sure. And by the way, if that's what happened,
guy.
Visa and MasterCard should sue them.
Thing is clear.
अरे मेरे
Gamers
को
are
क्यों मेरे को
lying
टीम
about
में आना है.
response,
हेलो.
and they want payment
ये फुल कैसे
processors
हो
to
रहा है?
stop deciding
अच्छा.
what content can be sold.
I totally
तो लग रहा है सिटी में किसको जाना ही नहीं है. क्या लैग हो रहा है बे? ए आ जाओ, ए जाओ. बम्बर भोसड़ी के प्लान कर. अब हम चलाएंगे एके रन एंड गन. एके से रन एंड गन देखा है कभी? अच्छा. ब्लैक डेविल क्या चल रहा है?
अबे यार पूरा देख लेता है.
बंटी भी खाली है 2 सीटी कोई नहीं आ रहा एलटी से मिड्स पे एक है लास्ट लॉन्ग डोर्स लॉन्ग के अंदर
जरा भाग रहा है भाई भाई कराओ भाई कराओ पागल पागल हो गया ब्लू का रिडेम्पशन हो गया बस लॉन्ग 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 ठीक नहीं लेना
अरे कौन तो स्काउट ही करेगा
मैं ही मर गया
पड़ी भाई
अबे यार अभी जाए ना डाल दो वो गोल निकाल दिया भाई
अबे साले अब तू भाई
और एक एफ1 हो जाएगा तो एक किक हो जाएगा
क्या हुआ
मिड भी कर सकते
पूरा आवाज नहीं आ रहा
हेलो मिड पे
हाँ बोलो मिड पे एक ही है
दूसरा
शॉट पे है क्या तो अबे अंदर बैठा है तो बंदरिया भांडिया जीत लेंगे ये राउंड तो
मत रुके तो
का बहुत दिक्कत है। मैंने पहले गोली मारी, मेरे को दिख रहा है मेरी गोली का गोली लगा।
टॉप मेड चेयर पे
बॉट
दोनों लॉन्ग
दोनों साइड से छुट्टी ही सब मर यू टू होल्ड कर लो ना भोपड़ी वालों
यूटी तो मैं हूँ।
पीके लेके रख, पीके लेके रख, पीके लेके रख।
मिड क्लास
बैठ के
कैजुअल में काम करेगा।
अंडर है अंदर नहीं
स्टीव देके जा रहा है आप, स्टीव।
अरे नाइस
हाँ छू दिए भाई। जो हमारे स्ट्रीम जाके देखो भाई।
कैसे कैसे छोड़ के चले जाए ऐसे थोड़ी चले जाए।
कौन आ रहा है और कौन आ रहा है और कौन आ रहा है बकरा जैसे अबे सन बैठा था बकरा
हाँ तो ले लेना। आजा आजा मेरी जगह खेल लेगा।
आजा भाई
मेरी जगह खेलेगा
ए तेरी जा ए
क्या?
तू खेलेगा तू सर टाउन में देखेगा नहीं मेरा मग कहीं चल रहा है ना इसलिए
मैं निकलता हूँ तू खेल
अरे आप बैठो ना तो आ जाओ, मैं तो खेल ही रहा हूँ। टाउनीज देखना, वो खाना खाने का टाइम है उसका, वैसे भी आगे हो, खाना खाने का टाइम है उसका, टाउनीज का।
महंगे वाला है ना आखिरी वाला।
पता नहीं बट जान दे दाढ़ी।
अंडर हो गया यार।
इधर है सर, और ये जो ऑफलाइन रैली है पहले ही पता मेरा डाउट नहीं थे, एक क्लिक कर रहा था, मजा आया। तेरा ऑल्ट आईडी से हम लोग प्रीमियर कर रहे हो, ये तो को दोनों मिलते हैं। ठीक है, अरे तू क्यों देख रहा है मुझे इसको? क्या पैर की वो बोला घर की भैंस का काला दूध है।
जा 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 डिफ्यूज मार,
कैरी वाला दूध है।
डिफ्यूज डिफ्यूज कर 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 कर।
कौन गया?
ये आप आओ रे।
अरे गया कौन?
अरे कोई नहीं, आप आओ भाई। अच्छा
अरे अगले
खाना खाने गया तो टाइम
तूने जबरदस्ती भिगाया ना उसको खाना खाने।
वो म्यूट है, कुछ देख के गया रहेगा वो खाना खाने। आपको ही पता है 11 बजे खाता है यार।
हेलो
अरे लेट
चल कोई नहीं लगा ले। अबे कौन पे मौका आ गया? हेलो ईमेल जा रहे थे गुंडू।
भाई गुंडू डरता है साला, डरता है क्या लोग?
क्या गुंडू और क्या?